Now, UNESCO is the cultural and educational arm of the UN. They're based out of Paris, France, and there we're a top-tier NGO, and we have managed over the decades to do some remarkable things, including running twice major international conferences on anti-Semitism, one that took place when the synagogues of Paris were first being attacked, and was a major opportunity for French Jews to see that the world had solidarity with them. This goes back to the year 2000. More recently, UNESCO voted to give nation status to the Palestinians. A big mistake, because under U.S. law, it meant that there was no more finances from the United States government to UNESCO. That was a law that was signed into law by Democrat Bill Clinton. And despite the efforts of the current administration, that funding isn't taking place. We have a very straightforward, I would say positive relationship with Irina Bokova, the current head of UNESCO. The previous head was a Japanese diplomat we had great relations with, and the previous one, when we opened back in 1993 the Museum of Tolerance, Federico Mayor, who's from Spain, he actually came and cut the ribbon with Simon Weisenthal. So because we are a major educational institution, we have films, we have the Museum of Tolerance in LA, in New York, and soon we hope as we build it in Jerusalem. So as it happens, we had a meeting scheduled with the head of UNESCO the day after the vote in Paris. And I asked Rabbi Heyer, I was elsewhere in Europe, I said, please, at the end of this meeting, I just want you to ask the following question. And he asked Mrs. Bokova, we would like for UNESCO to co-sponsor with us an exhibition entitled The 3,500-Year Relationship of the Jewish People with the Holy Land. And much to our utter amazement, she said yes. We were blessed by the fact that Professor Robert Wistridge, of blessed memory now, from Hebrew University, who was for 30 years the Vidal Sassoon professor, the world's number one expert in anti-Semitism. He wrote the exhibition for us. We put it together. We built it in Israel. And back in January of 2014, together with Lord Carey, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, and other dignitaries, including an Arab writer from Algeria who signed on as a patron, we came to Paris for the opening. There's only one small problem. On the night before the opening, the Arab League delivered a letter to the chief of the UNESCO and said, we protest. And as a result, they took the exhibition down before it opened. Through the public intervention of the United States ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, and some muscle flexing from the Weisenthal Center, we're known to be pretty aggressive folk. 6 months later, the exhibition opened at UNESCO, full participation of the leadership. It has since been at the United Nations headquarters, at the General Assembly, at the Knesset, at the Vatican, and on Capitol Hill. We plan to take it to world capitals, but also to bring it, traveling versions, to universities here in the United States, because, when we're all fighting BDS and all these efforts to deny and denigrate the Jewish people and Eretz Yisrael and Zionism, we also want to empower our own kids with not just answering the negative, but celebrating the positive. It's a wonderful narrative, a wonderful story, and so far the response has been quite something. So we're, I guess, as Rabbi Norman Lamb once said, 90% of leadership is just showing up. So despite the fact that it's quite painful very often just to show up and to listen to the lies that are sent out there, you can't make believe the United Nations and its international global nomenclature doesn't exist. That's a huge mistake. And wherever we can, we have to do what we can to, stand up against the lies, and when we can, to use the system in order to educate people all over the world.